trying to get this started. Trying to get
Like,
this started.
she I don't know. Maybe if she went ultras and didn't throw away like 400 supply of lings over and over and over again. Maybe. I don't know. The amount of banelings she's crashed into Colossi and Stalkers easily be 4 or 5 ultras.
All because of you, I'm going to go to Desra's stream now. Because I'm just so out of it. I'm not seeing what's going on.
Alright guys, we are live and we've been there for about 2,000 frames at 60 frames per second. That puts us there at about 30 seconds. Alright, so
Cool.
we're missing Puck. What do we do?
We start without him?
Start
We do the
tweeting.
Puck chant.
Alright, but I mean, like, I feel like Puck is definitely the most vocal member of the community we got. Maybe he's on his cell phone out getting some ice cream or something like that. Yo, you're late for the show, buddy.
Just do what the late game does, like every episode, and just start without Destiny because he's never on time.
Alright, let's go find a picture of, you know what? I got just the what's the word I'm looking for?
Oh, hey.
Solution.
That's what's using TTs again. What a surprise.
Wait, say that again?
That's what's using TTs again. That's how he beat Ruff. With
What do you mean by
DTs?
DTs?
That sounds like a half thing to do in
Dark,
my
Dark
opinion.
Templars?
Oh, DTs. I thought you said TTs. I'm like, is that he's like
Oh,
using
that's
esports gear beat him up?
Right. I thought he was saying the same thing at first as well. Let me see here.
DTs. English so hard.
Let me see here. I'm looking for Loopy right now to substitute for Desro.
Loopy. Oh god, no,
Yeah.
please, no. Oh,
Loopy
no.
Winter? Like, just search Loopy Winter and you
Please.
get pictures of chicks. Oh, alright. So it looks like we're not gonna get Loopy.
No.
Alright, so
Winter's dog, please.
Winter's dog. Okay, let me Google that. See what we get.
Oh, no.
Alright.
I'll give it to you.
You have Loopy. Oh my god.
No, it's just that I use YouTube and someone linked it to me in my chat, and so it always pops up in my YouTube now. One of those
Okay.
little things.
Throw it to me. I
So
got
it's just some random green screen dog that he has on like.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It's like a GI.
Wow.
It's like a GIF file or something.
Oh my god. He's not kidding,
So-
but
So he actually can't afford a dog. Wow. I'm so mean. Smack talk.
oh,
So-
man.
All good. We'll calm down.
Oh, hold up. I'm gonna do this. I got it. Hang on. Okay, so wait. He's not kidding. I'm wondering where I can download this, but forget about it. Okay.
Is. Oh my god. This game.
All right. Okay. Sorry. Let's stop talking about WCS, guys. I mean, we're gonna get to that in
Yep.
just a few minutes. How about we go ahead and jump into topic number 1? We've been just cluster screwing the entire stream now for about a good 3 minutes. So we're a little bit down right now. We're missing Puck. What do we do?
Go on to the topic.
Do the Puck chant.
Panic.
Yep.
Alright, I mean, he's busy on Skype, so any notifications he gets will obviously not be there for the next few moments. Let's go ahead and transition into our first topic of the day, which is going to be Archon mode, and the implications that it has on professional level play, games, tournaments, etc., etc. This is actually going to be something that we used to build our time into going into the next topic, which is going to be WCS discussion. Alright, so what do you, I mean, obviously, initial thoughts on Archon mode? Good, right?
It's okay. It
Yeah.
has its up and downs.
Yeah.
All right. What is perhaps the worst part of it? What is the biggest drawback for it?
So
If-
medium.
If both players are high level, they're like trying to control on top of each other, and they'll like double chrono boost shit, and they'll like pull units and stuff, and they'll confuse each other. It's like the Carbots thing where the guy's just like defend the minerals, attack it, or something like that. And the stalker just trips on itself, and yeah.
All right.
Sounds about right.
Okay. So, what about say what? Well, I mean, what what about getting yourselves drift compatible trained, if that makes sense?
Say that again.
What about making yourselves drift compatible?
What do you mean by drift compatible?
Pacific Rim.
I still don't get it.
You never saw that movie. Okay.
No.
No one here saw that movie. Wow.
I haven't finished watching the Lord of the Rings saga. I haven't seen Pacific Rim.
Okay, this is frustrating me. All right. So basically, Pacific Rim is that movie with the giant robots, and the giant robots have to be controlled by like 2 people instead of 1, and then they fight these like giant sea monsters. It came out in like 2012, 2013. Anyway,
Sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I mean like. And it shows parts where the people are just like they're not drift compatible and they're trying to take control of the robots, and then like how do I say this? It just they like these giant sea monsters just start beating the living crap out of them, and they're losing the fight. That kind of thing. It's long, complicated, but you'll have to watch the movie to get my reference. But what kind of implications can you guys see this having on a tournament?
0.
On a tournament. Okay, well, the only thing that you can really do is the best way to do Archon mode is to have 2 people the same race play, if they're both like pros. One should be specifically like a macro player. The other one, like let's say I'm not that great with macro, so I would probably be given some units to go out on the map to go ahead and micro constantly, pretty much. Whereas the other person would constantly macro behind it and to kind of play his game and use the main army while the other person uses harassment. So that's kind of the thing that I would see useful, but I've seen players play together and they're just like, what are you doing? You did this and then they did that. So it's pretty much team oriented. It can be very useful, but at the same time, I think one player controlling a race could be a hell lot better if they can't work as a team.
Yeah, and it seems like if one person's really good at the game, even if you have a lower partner, like they can just carry that one person. Because I saw it was that Arium was carrying this random girl who was like silver level against GM level players who were playing Archon mode. So that's another thing. Like even in tournaments, you could just find like some Gosu Korean guy who would just carry the other person. I mean, you're basically, it's probably at an advantage 1 person versus 2 people, because 2 people has more of a possibility of messing up, like over chronoing, stuff like that. I don't know. That's just.
Now, I actually have a question. How many of you have played Brood War?
I have, but
regularly.
Define played Brood War.
Yeah,
regularly, like online, Battle.net.
No.
A while ago,
Oh, I know
like
what you're talking
4
about.
years ago, I played Brood War.
I already know what you're gonna bring up before you even go into that. But go ahead and say.
Oh, okay. Team melee mode.
Yep, played it once
Yep.
and only once.
Okay. Now, Team Melee was a failed concept. But, you mind if I answer this phone? You guys can go ahead and talk about it.
Sure.
Sorry.
I know what Desiree was talking about, but I mean, like, come on, we're North Americans, we're bad kids. So, like, what happens is,
just a norm. I'm on a podcast right now.
Rob, mute yourself. Oh, anyway.
Can't hear us.
Okay, it's working a little bit against us, but anyway. Okay, so I remember the one and only game of Team Melee that I did play. I mean, like, obviously it was kind of fun, but what happened was rough.
Okay, I just got owned there. Sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. Please remember to mute yourself.
I told her to.
Please remember to mute yourself. It would probably.
Oh, sorry.
It's all
Sorry.
good. I love you too, Ralph. I love you
Team
too.
Melee. Team Melee, though.
Yeah.
Just for the record, Ruff, your microphone does that thing where it, like, when you move it, it like makes sounds like. Yeah, like that.
Yeah, I think that's because he wears.
Yeah. There's not much I can do about that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, don't go ham with it. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah, Team Melee, though, it was a failed concept in Brood War, but they're bringing it back in Legacy of the Void.
And
why?
Oh, marketing. If you can play a game for free, maybe it'll convince someone to try and see. And like, even if they have free ranked Archon mode, it's going to, obviously, I think, in some ways, influence a player to think, well, if I'm this good with my best friend, how good am I playing on my own? And that might actually convince them to spend a little bit of money on the third and final expansion, which is actually going to be a standalone, right? Fair statement.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I mean, like, that's what I think of it as a marketing perspective. Once you look at Heart of the Swarm in and of itself right now, right?
What about, do you think that they brought it back because there's not as many people from Brood War anymore?
Maybe. Maybe they're thinking that if they rename it, no one will notice.
I think
it.
the majority
Say, oh,
of,
it's a new mode. Maybe.
I think the majority of people who hear Archon mode and read about it don't say to themselves, "Oh, hey, Team Melee mode," right?
Yeah.
I think because like, yeah.
So it's like, wow,
I
Blizzard
personally
made a
liked
new game mode.
back in Brood War. It's just nobody played it. That was the problem.
Yeah.
Right.
So if people can actually get interested in it, I think it would be a pretty big thing. And I think it would be definitely funner than playing by yourself all the time on the ladder.
But it's also to consider, like, say for example, the highest level of micro, and if you have someone that, and again I'm probably going to use a word that no one here is familiar with because no one's seen Pacific Rim, right? Okay, so like if you have someone that you are truly drift compatible with, the highest level of play can be achieved through this by, say, just take Zerg for example. You guys remember that that build that Pig had pioneered, Swarm Host, Infestor, Viper, right? That's like what you should have at Hive Tech, and if nothing else, you can starve your Terran opponent to death, your Protoss opponent to death, whatever have you, right? But it seems very excruciatingly difficult to micro with. So what do? Get a friend to help you.
Get flying locusts.
What?
Get flying locusts.
Alright.
So someone would be controlling the Corruptors and Broodlords, and then someone else with the Infestors underneath, kind of like doing a multi-pronged attack. That actually sounds pretty good, and it sounds pretty OP when you think about it.
Yeah,
it's actually really good.
This sounds like a base trade TV tournament idea, but not like a mainstream tournament. Like they're doing the 2v2 tournaments and all sorts of stuff like that, and I can see them getting money and just saying, "Hey, Archon mode, here's a tournament. We'll see where it goes. If people like it, we'll do another one." But it doesn't seem like something you would ever see inside of like a mainstream tournament, like a MLG or an IEM or a DreamHack or something. I don't think it would ever be at that level.
I think.
Do you think 2v2 has more potential than Archon mode? In tournaments?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I want to play devil's advocate here for just a short minute. I really feel like there is that chance for, you know, something amazing to happen with Archon mode, but it would have to be. You know what? This is probably only because I play Zerg. That's probably the only reason why I'm saying it. But I mean, like, when you stop and think about the things that you have to do in, say, a Zerg versus Terran, we're talking about maybe, anywhere along the lines, forget about it. What I say is not important. Okay, let's stop and think about this from a tournament implications perspective, however. Take WCS, for example. How many players are in Premier League?
16.
16?
I think.
Premier League?
I'm pretty sure Premier is 32. Right? It's around 32 and 16.
Premier is 32.
So the question is, like, what do we do if we're going to have, like, and this is going to sound totally dumb. Is Blizzard going to make one WCS season or an entire year of WCS based off of Archon mode?
No.
No, I doubt it.
Yeah, that'd be dumb, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
Feasibility as well. Like, do you, like, take Premier League? Do you want to keep it at, what is it? 60? No, Challenger League is 64. Do you want to keep it at 32 players as a total, or do you want to keep it at 32 teams of 2, if you will? That kicks up the budget required to execute the event substantially.
Or it'll cut the budget in half for the players.
What do you mean? Like,
They'll be split
yeah.
in the pool then.
Right. Okay. Well,
So
I mean,
overall, it just seems like Archon mode wouldn't work because either Blizzard would have to feed more money into tournaments because
Maybe
the
they
players would
could-
require more money.
Maybe they could do the thing that Call of Duty tournaments do. This is just like a random toss in the air, but if you guys have ever... Ruff, when you went to MLG, did you ever go to the Call of Duty tournament stands?
I went over there, but I never really watched.
Okay. Well, basically, how it works for the Call of Duty tournaments is that they get 2 teams to play, and then they play multiple game modes to decide who's the champion. Right? So you could yeah. So you could start off with like the standard 1v1, then be like, all right, grab a partner, Archon mode this out. I'm assuming this would have to be like clan war specific, like grab somebody from your team.
Because you would definitely see people like paying money to players like Polt and Violet and stuff. Oh, you want to play with me for my Archon mode match so I can qualify for WCS or
Honestly,
whatever through Challenger or whatever?
The biggest utility I found in Archon mode is that I could BM while my friend was macroing. Just keep going.
That's pretty good.
yeah, it is. I could see a whole hell of a lot of fun new tournament formats coming out from Legacy of the Void. What do you guys think? I mean, think about it this way. I mean, what if we've got, and this is gonna take a big if, like, what if we've got 16 teams of 2, so 32 players, and then they play Archon mode in a group stage at the round of 32. Then they advance to, or round of 16, excuse me. So 16 teams of 2. Then they cut that number and, well, okay. They whittle themselves down to 8 teams going into the round of 8, and then they just all of a sudden disband their Archon mode teams, and then voila, we've got 16 players ready to play what was 16 teams, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Do you get it?
Sort of, but like.
But what do you do? What do you do from there?
Yeah.
Draw it out. I mean, I've seen some pretty silly tournament formats. Like there's the NSL 2012 to 2013. I don't think anyone would remember that one, but what that one did was it had a group stage where players would work against, or they would work in teams of 4, and they would play against other teams in round robins. And then the next stage of the tournament was still round of 32. And what they would do is they would basically fight for the seeds that are there. Like, the highest ranking group of 4 players would have 3 seeds. So 3 players from that group would go on to the round of 16. Or, excuse me. There was already 16 players. So 3 players from that group would go on to the round of 8. Group 2 would have 2 seeds, and then Group 3 would have a seed and a half, and then Group 4 would have half a seed. So, like, the highest placing players from those groups would go on to the next round. But the 1.5 seed thing, I believe they had to play a tiebreaker at some point with someone from another group to go to the round of 8. Does that make sense? It's ultra confusing, I know.
Yeah.
Ultra confusing.
All right.
Ultra confusing is.
Sorry.
Kind of makes sense.
All good.
But I mean, like, I could see some unique tournament formats like this happening.
Yeah.
I think
I'd love to
they
see.
could happen.
I'd love to see Take do that. What do you guys think?
That
Sorry?
maybe something like Base Trade TV or something like Take.
In like a clan war, I wouldn't mind watching that. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Shellcraft
maybe
is very similar to
Shellcraft.
that. Yeah.
Total Biscuit is a really creative guy, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say? I think he could come up with something like that.
All the crazy
But
maps.
they already have like 1 foot in the water, right? Like they're already doing stuff where like if one of the points for the clan war is a 2v2 and another point for the clan war is a Legacy of the Void beta match, so yeah.
And then some weird maps where you gotta take cannons in the middle.
Yeah, that's like
It's very interesting stuff. I actually really like that stuff because it's very unique and it makes you think. It really does. You can't just play normal. You actually have to think about what you're going to be doing in that game. So
who won?
Cool
who won today in between Ascension and EG?
EG did 4-3 though.
Did Jadon just like go ham?
Oh,
the thing was,
right?
oh yeah, yeah, he just disappeared. I don't know what happened to him. But yeah, I was surprised. Like the maps literally make a huge difference. Like I think 2 of our people ended up cheesing and getting so far ahead, doing like 2 Raxes and stuff, and then just completely just lost it because of the way the maps were designed. It was very interesting indeed. Those kind of maps. I actually want to see someone make a tournament where you can actually pick between Wings of Liberty, Heart of the Swarm, and Legacy of the Void when it comes out, and actually bet on it.
Zerg players win every time, massing Wings of Liberty.
And then Zerg players lose every time when HOTS keeps it, or when they switch to HOTS. At least under the custom data. But we'll get to that balance discussion in about an hour. Well, about 40 minutes. Let me think here. What other implications does Archon mode in and of itself have? I mean, we could see something obviously kind of funny. I would love to see Maximus Black do his cheese themed tournament with yeah.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. I don't know. This is where I also have to shamefully chime in and say I don't have time to watch Clan Wars. Shoutcraft. I don't, because well, it cuts into my sleep schedule.
They run reruns on MLG that sometimes cut off inside the middle of a game and then re-roll the entire series again, so you don't even get to see one of the games. So that's pretty nice.
All right.
At least you can catch it that way, right?
Yeah, VODs. I should probably do that, but I'm more of a live stream guy myself.
I didn't even know who won because they just cut off the rerun and restarted it again. So I was thinking, I wonder who won.
Oh.
So I didn't catch the... But yeah.
Where on earth is Puck?
Sleeping.
I don't know.
Laddering.
Did you get your replacement Loopy?
Oh yeah. Where's Loopy?
I guess, like, you know what? Let me go back to YouTube and find him. Like, get the green screen dog. I would actually make a recording of him right now, and I will for future episodes. But I don't know. I don't know if I can download him or not. I mean, I saw Rifkin had him on his stream the other day. At this moment, what are your final thoughts for Archon mode? Do you think it's a good marketing ploy, or do you guys think that it's something that has potential for tournament play by any means?
I honestly believe that they just released everything too early.
You mean it still has to go through more testing?
Like the big look at Legacy of the Void, and then the big look at Archon mode and stuff. I feel like that stuff is like candy, and you're not supposed to give the candy out yet.
1 second.
And then more people will be baited to want to do it, right? So that's kind of that's my perspective, because I don't see Legacy of the Void coming out anytime soon. Maybe the end of this year or something, right? Because there's still going to be a lot of beta testing. So that's kind of how I see it. And then, you know, since they've already kind of gotten used to it, they might actually not get as many people buying the game. That's the way I see it. That's just my perspective on it. I feel like they released some things a little too early.
Yes, I can see that. I can agree with some parts, but at the same time, I can also, like, I feel as though in other ways it's maybe not so accurate, because this is, of course, we're talking about, it's all good. We're talking about, like, something that's, right now it's based on an invite-only beta. When we start seeing people getting keys and such, and the numbers start to grow a little bit more, even when the game is fully released, I don't feel like that'll even compare to the beta itself, right? Did Heart of the Swarm ever go into an open beta? Because I remember getting a key, an invite key for my Heart of the Swarm beta.
I think Blizzard said that
somebody asked me that a while ago, and I couldn't answer that. I have no idea.
I think Blizzard said near the end they sent it to everyone who applied, so it was open if you applied for like beta beforehand, but you couldn't like go apply for beta and get it, because how it works is Blizzard sends out keys inside like intervals. So if you apply for it, you'd have to wait for the next interval for Blizzard to send the key. So
that makes sense, because that's basically I guess you could say, the biggest technical test out there. What they're trying to do is they're trying to measure as many diverse PC platforms as they can without having too many crash bugs in the game. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, this is the way Breaker talks when he has only been awake for an hour. All right. Broken English.
So
I don't know. You guys think we're ready to segue into the next topic, which is
Alright, go.
WCS
Sure.
Drama? I mean, like, we got a whole lot of stuff to cover with this, so I guess we can cut 5 minutes out of about 7 minutes altogether out of Archon mode. What's up, Kyle?
should we wait for the WCS Season 2 qualifiers mishandling type thing? Because that was like the big thing that Puck wanted to talk about. I don't know if he's gonna come or not, but
That is, I don't know. Maybe he had some kind of a personal emergency that came up, but
okay, I was just wondering.
I have no notifications from him whatsoever. I wish I did, but I don't.
So I mean, we could do like one topic before that and then do that. Do you
That might be a good
think that
idea.
would work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that'd be
Okay.
better.
We need a Protoss. We need a Protoss right now because if we're going to skip that topic and go straight into balanced discussion, we really need to have a GM Protoss on hand. I wonder if Blisk. Let me see if Blisk. I mean, he's in the same time zone as me right now. Let me get him on board. That's not supposed to happen. Fantastic. Okay. Let me see if. Yo,
I can
Blisk.
pretend to be a Protoss. I mean,
It's all good. Put
this
put
Widow
up-
Mine's OP.
Oh,
Oh, great. That's fantastic. Okay, there we go. All right. I guess I'm just waiting for Blisk to reply to me. I mean, he's really the only Protoss I can think of on hand that would be ready to help me. Is SWS Protoss by chance?
Yeah, he is. Let me ask a couple tosses too.
All right. Hang on. Let me see if I can get SWS out here. Hey, can you join
that would be a good
us
idea.
for balanced discussion? Puck disappeared.
I mean, we could always invite Avillo. I mean, he has some pretty.
I don't have him on Skype. All right.
He's like the equivalent of a Protoss, right?
Yeah. All right. I guess. I mean, in some ways. All right. All right. So, I guess we can kick things off a little bit by just, I don't know. I feel like my hardest matchup is ZVP, but at the same time, I'm not GM, so I really feel like that's a cake that I can't cut.
Are we talking what game are we talking here? Hardest Form, like say the voice.
Heart of the Swarm, because like
Okay.
it just seems so fantastic that Blizzard happened to post balanced discussion thoughts just a few hours after I made the announcement for our podcast.
I think I haven't been doing too bad without Swarm Host.
All right.
I think it's been bearable. I've had to do different things, and I think it won't be long before they don't work. But then again, I don't know. But
You want to hear my opinion?
yeah, sure.
They suck mid-game really bad. Like, really bad. Now, if the Zerg can actually max out and then make Swarm Host as, like, the kind of cap to their supply, I think that they're actually pretty useful. The reason I say that is because PDD doesn't work anymore. So, what ends up happening is if you have a Terran that's camping with, like, Ravens and stuff, and you do like Locust and attack over here and then an attack over there. I've had like my planetaries just die and I can't stop it, like no matter what. So it actually forces me to go out and actually attack now. That's the way I see it. But if you make them too early, they're so bad because once you kill the Locust, you can just charge and attack. and just instantly win. So I found out that Sky Terran kind of isn't as good anymore when it comes to fighting Locusts late game, and you should be focusing more on like ground mech army. So I think they have a use, it's just the use is completely different now. Versus Protoss, I have no idea, but that's what I see when I play my games. Now versus Bio, probably not useful at all, in my opinion. But versus mech, they can be useful, but you have to do it really late.
I can see that.
Okay.
So, I have something to bring up that kind of concerns Widow Mines with Terran, and I have a question. Why did they nerf Widow Mines and then bring them back to where they used to be? These are the current statistics for Widow Mines, and I
believe the statistics were based off of TVZ matches, not so
Okay.
much TVP. And
Because
I think it was... Yeah, I think TVZ started getting out of hand for Terran players in tournaments, and they started losing, so they kind of brought it back, I think. And then they kind of increased it, the damage, though, toward Protoss, because they wanted to see it be used toward Protoss. So it basically got a bump, then it got nerfed, and then it got a super bump. I don't know if that makes sense.
Well,
I'm not saying it's like OP, but I've seen Rough kill like 45 probes with like 4 Widow Mines inside a medevac before, so
Tunneling Claws is pretty good in medevacs.
all right. Well,
They can't escape.
how about we just take a quick, brief look at what Blizzard posted yesterday in regards to balance. This is a quote made by the user Musicus from Germany, and of course it's on the front page of Team Liquid. Analyzing the effects of the last Swarm host patch is one of our top priorities in Heart of the Swarm right now, so we wanted to share some more thoughts in this area to get more input from you. Blah, 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 blah. Option 1. Take our normal approach of waiting until we can locate what specific issues are and then act accordingly. The upside is that we can make the correct decisions and give players enough time to really drill down to the details of what the last patch has changed about the game. The downside is it will take time. Option 2, a bit quicker. Act a bit quicker as an exception this time because we made such drastic changes at a point when the balance was looking very solid. From the initial feedback in games we've seen, Zerg seems slightly weaker than before. While we don't have enough examples or the time to make this conclusion, we wonder if acting a bit sooner in this specific case might be better for the game. To be clear, this doesn't mean we'll just go in and patch right away. We'll still go through the standard procedures of discussing potential changes, testing the changes on balance test maps, and iterating on them until we find good changes. The main difference is that we would be going into the first balance test map much sooner than we normally would have after a balance patch. So what is it? The suggestion they're making right now is Roach, Burrow, Move, Speed, Increase.
I don't.
which is already in Legacy of the Void.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, I mean, this kind of speaks to the volume of the game itself. Heart of the Swarm is entirely based off of Swarm hosts for every matchup, of course, except for PvP and TVT. Right?
I wouldn't say ZVZ is based off Swarm hosts, but I would say ZVZ is based on a lot of Burrowed Roaches, so I'd say it just make our lives harder as Zergs.
Like,
I have no opinion on it. Because usually what ends up happening is you'll get caught by surprise if you're going mech or something. Either you'll see it or you won't see it. They're just sitting there. They're not really moving. So.
And then when they want to, they release their locusts, right?
What?
And when Zerg wants to, they will release their locusts, right? Like they can't they just don't do it automatically anymore.
Yeah. You can manually shoot them.
which isn't too bad because Zergs are already used to like throwing inject inside their mind like automatically. I don't think doing the auto swarm host thing, like just clicking it, is that hard? Just clicking the key.
Well, according to the polls here on Team Liquid, from what I can tell, a lot of people don't like Zerg. Poll: act faster or wait longer? Wait longer. More Zerg tiers.
We should give them all beta keys so they see the void to make them happier.
Yeah. Act fast, 44%. Wait longer, 56%. Poll. Roach, Burrow, move speed, increase. Bad, good, wrong direction. Bad. 272 votes at 53%. Good. 120 votes at 23%. Wrong direction. 68 votes at 13%. Not sure. 51 votes at 10%.
Do we have a discussion on the economy change or no? Because I'd love to bring that up right now.
I do not, but it sounds like something good to throw out there, but it seems, I don't know, it seems a little bit sudden to ask us that, but I mean, like, what kind of solutions do we have to, quote-unquote, fixing Zerg and HOTS right now? What are some things you'd like to see, Sam?
You mean changes to Zerg?
Yeah.
I would have to try out what Ruff is suggesting before making an opinion. Because it sounds like it would make sense. But at the same time, like, 2,000 gas for 10 Swarm hosts, that sounds kind of lame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially for hit and run units. I mean, that's all they are right now, unless you're talking about one big mega ambush.
Yeah.
And for taking 40.
I think, I don't think the new Swarm host is very good.
Obviously.
Do they automatically get the fly, or is it an upgrade?
That's an upgrade.
It's an upgrade?
It's an upgrade.
Yep.
Unlike your fancy Hellbat transformation, in which case you only need to build damn armory now.
I actually wonder if if you ever see a Thor all-in, it's good to get Swarm hosts, but not get the upgrade. Because if they're flying, then Thors, they do light damage, right? And they all just die. So it makes me wonder if the upgrade's useful or not.
Because I've noticed with the flying locusts, they work really good against like massive units. Because when they surround them, all the massive units have trouble moving around, kind of glitch out.
I can see that. Yeah.
It's like brutal.
It's just that, like, I
how
tried building some Swarm hosts, and they just build too slow.
Yeah.
I tried building them, like, this was Legacy of the Void beta, but I tried building them pretty late game versus Yagus, and it took, like, fucking forever, and then at the end of it, I'm like, I have, like, 5 Swarm hosts, what am I going to do with this shit? And then they just didn't do anything, and I'm like, these took forever to build, because they're 200 gas each, and they're just not good. Like, I could have had 5 fucking Ultras right now, but no, I got these 5 pieces of shit that do nothing but shoot out these little things once a minute that just instantly disintegrate to whatever the fuck he's got going on there. He's got like 4 planetaries on that wall with Widow Mines. How did I get past there? I mean, I guess Ultralisks are equally as useless versus that, but I mean, maybe there's something else I can do with them.
You can drop them, you can Nidus them, especially in Legacy of the Void now that Nidus.
That's what I was thinking actually with the Nidus.
Yeah.
But how about those Ravagers though?
Those Ravagers are good. Their skill shot is terrible for a lot of things, except A, holding all-ins, and B, zoning in fights, and C, killing Protoss Warpins. Whenever Protoss, like, yeah.
I've seen Zergs bust with them. The bust force fields and all-in with lings.
Well, I mean, that's the entire point of the Ravager, I feel. I mean, like, you can take out force fields with them. But, I mean, oh, wait, I'm sorry, I thought you meant specifically in regards to Protoss, but go ahead, Midday.
The Ravager... ZVZ is going to be like a complete clusterfuck now. Because it'll be just like Ravager Roach on Ravager Roach. And it'll be like Muta versus Muta, except just more confusing.
Yeah.
And then against Terran... Yeah, you could use them to bust. I just think they're about as good as a Roach, but the Hydra is still necessary because yes, the Ravager quote unquote shoots up, but anybody who's like used Ravagers will recognize how hard it is to land that skill shot and how dead on that skill shot has to be, and like trying to hit Banshees with the skill shot is like not a thing. It doesn't.
Especially with the new upgrade.
Well, even without the upgrade or anything, like the only thing it really hits, like people have trouble hitting Overlords with it. Okay, come on. So, yeah, But
It's a very small splash radius, and it's easy to dodge unless you literally have maxed out armies, which are all like the biggest ball ever. Then you might hit something.
But one thing that it's really good for is holding off all-ins, because you constantly have to make them dance, and you know your units are attacking and shit. Protoss all-ins aren't that strong anymore because of the what's it even called? What's the ability called? I don't know what it's called.
Corrosive
The Corrosive Bile.
Okay. Okay, yeah, you know, I think you're right. Yeah, but I think the Ravager is overall like a good unit. I've been doing a lot of 3-base Ravager pushes, and for the most part killing Protosses with them. I don't think I've lost yet doing it. So that might say something about how imbalanced it is. But yeah, if the Ravager were to get changed, maybe just... I don't know, I think some other changes need to be made. I think other stuff maybe needs to be made stronger.
What about putting Ravager on layer tech? That seems to be everyone's suggestion.
I actually only ever built them after layer because I thought they were already layer tech, and I was still not losing games with them. And then when my friend told me they're hatch tech, I'm like, no, they're layer tech. And then I saw somebody building them with hatch tech, I'm like, oh, this is what I've been missing. Okay.
I've actually got a question.
Did you?
Sure.
I've never seen the Lurker built once. Out of 50 games I've played.
You should probably hit Stefano on ladder.
From what I've seen, from what Stefano's been playing, he builds like 2 or 3 lurkers, and then he puts them at the top of his ramps, and it's insane. He also uses them offensively.
Perfect.
But I heard one person saying that attacking up ramp against Stefano is impossible because of how he plays.
Right, it's almost the same as Brood War.
Yeah, actually,
They used to do that, and then they would put Dark Swarm over them.
You know what? That's exactly what he does. He uses lurkers, and this is against Bio. I'm not sure how he would do it against Mech, but what he does is that, like, he was, like, crushing Semper with it, and what he was doing is that he was going Viper, Hydra, Lurker, and, like, wherever he would go, he would just, you know, like, burrow the Lurkers, and then Blinding Cloud, whatever, and then he'd, like, pick up the Medivacs and run, but nope, I'm abducting you into Hydras, and then, yeah.
Wow. That seems pretty powerful. I've never seen anybody use them, though.
It's really strong. I saw him using it, and I'm like...
I actually like that, because it is definitely...
Yeah, I'm like, as long as the Zerg is, like, aware enough and responsive enough, this seems, like, really fucking imbalanced.
They're better than the Swarm hosts, but they kind of took the job with the old Swarm hosts.
And then...
as defensive siege units. But.
I used I used Lurkers against Protoss just to try him out. And they're stronger in close combat than Colossi. It's ridiculous. Really ridiculous. If you watch them, they just shred through shit. I was like, okay, these units... I thought these units wouldn't have much utility, but, you know... The good thing about them is that they burrow and unburrow very, very quickly, so you don't have to deal with bullshit time. And if you want to use them aggressively, you can. They don't take 3 seconds to burrow while they're getting shot at and stuff. And their projectile, I think it's a it's a projectile. Their projectile goes pretty quickly, so it's not exactly easy to dodge. So I think Lurkers would be a lot of fun to use.
Did you guys see Cat's 1-base Ravager build?
I did.
That apparently Protosses have had a huge problem with on Legacy of the Void because it's quote-unquote impossible to beat. Something like that.
It's not impossible to beat. I've seen people beat it.
Okay. Katz was saying how he thinks that build specifically is imbalanced.
Might be imbalanced, definitely not unbeatable. I've seen Buck hold it. I've seen some of my friends hold it.
Okay.
But it is pretty scary, I'll tell you.
Let me ask you guys this. What do you think of units with splash damage right now? What needs to be fixed? Do you guys think Ravagers should have the ability to damage buildings or not?
No.
Okay.
Colossi sucks, so...
But Colossi suck. What do you mean?
Yeah, Colossi suck now. They're bad.
Like, what does that have to do with Ravager buildings?
Well, he was saying the AoE damage. So I was just saying that Colossi suck AoE damage-wise. They're just not good anymore.
What happened to them?
They got nerfed for 1/4 or 1/3 of their damage, so it takes 4 sweeps to kill a Marine now.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
So now Protoss just builds like 3 or 4 disruptors.
You can just see Ruff's webcam bouncing up and down because he's like happy. He's like the dog that's wagging his tail.
He's loopy. Alright.
Disruptors are OP though.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you put them in a warp prism, and then you're attacking with your army. If you're mech, it's such a pain in the ass with mech. With bio, it's still hard too because they're so fast. You stim away, and it's just as fast as a stim Marines. It's ridiculous. And then it's like you gotta split. They're very expensive though. I can understand that.
Cyclones. I've seen the Ruff lose to like sorry, not Ruff. I've seen Puck lose to like a lot of mass cyclones. And like
cyclones are all the Protoss open Phoenix now. The counter cyclone. At least from what I saw. Yeah, most of them, and then they go straight into carrier. And it's actually really good.
I can see
surprisingly.
That,
and
I've seen cyclones. I've seen cyclones go like both ways with every quote-unquote counter. Like, I see people saying, like, oh, you just blink into them, but I've seen people blink into them, and it goes horribly wrong. And then I've seen a lot of people say, just go Phoenix, and then, like, the Cyclones just wrecked all the Phoenix.
You have to have more Phoenix than Cyclones, so you can pick them all up. And then you have to have Stalkers underneath to kill them. If you do that, like, perfectly, you won't lose anything at all as a Protoss player. That's what I've seen people doing versus me. Like, they just come out, they pick me up, and then they just kill the Cyclones with Stalkers, and then you're so far behind, it's like, well, fuck. Why'd I move out? That's what I'm saying.
I have a question.
It's like, I should just camped.
I have a question for Sam. Sam, what do you do in an early game where a Terran opponent opens up Hellion Cyclone? How do you do it?
I die.
Okay.
I die.
Yeah, I thought maybe, just maybe, GM Top 100 NA might have an answer to that, but
Top 100? What are you talking about?
What? Well, what I mean to say is you're one of the world's best. Let's put it that way.
No, I'm not there either. Let's just say I'm good in North American standards.
Okay, there we go. Let's put it that way.
But like I had Drunken Boy do like a Blue Flame Hellion Cyclone all in like really fast against me, and I'm like messaging. I messaged him after the game. I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do versus that? And he's just like, I don't know, all I did was all in. I'm like, gee, thanks. But whenever I ask D-Boy a question after I lose, he always has the same response. I don't know. And then at some point I got pretty sick of it at some point. I'm like, dude, how do you never know how you win? He's like, I don't know, man. I just do stuff. I honestly don't know. And I'm like, okay. But I think
I actually have a hard time versus Zerg and Legacy of the Void.
Do you open Hellion Cyclone?
Yeah, but what they do is they hard counter you by going specifically Mass Roach. So basically the idea is Zergling opening is actually really bad in Legacy of the Void.
Yes.
So all the Zergs start going Roaches and Ravagers now because a Cyclone and Hellions will just shred them to pieces. At least this way, if you go Cyclones and Hellions are useless versus Roaches pretty much.
Right. But
so you'll actually have this massive flood of units, and the Cyclones can't keep blocking. So what ends up happening is there's so many units that you can't stop it. So that's why I've been trying to experiment with like opening siege tanks instead. But
yeah,
if you play a Zerg that goes fast and mute at 5 minutes, then the siege tanks suck. So it's actually pretty tough. Like if they actually open up with Lings and they try to play like it's Heart of the Swarm, it's really easy. But if they go like Roaches or straight into fast mute, it's actually pretty difficult from what I saw.
I'm thinking whenever I go Roaches versus Cyclones, it's not enough. And then if I want to stay on Roaches, I have like Roaches versus tanks, and that doesn't work.
Well,
and then the way I stop the Cyclones, actually, if I just keep building Roaches, I actually keep building Cyclones. The way that I have to stop the Cyclones is by building infestors. And then
here's
they
the
said,
thing I forgot to mention. Burrow.
"Oh yeah,
That's what I was
okay,
thinking. That's
Yeah.
what I was thinking.
That's how I was losing with those roaches, because what
That's a
ends up
good point.
happening is they lock on, and then whatever locked roach it is, you just you burrow and then pop it back up, and then there's
That's a
no
good
lock
point.
anymore. And then you lose.
I would
So
say
it's
to do
actually
it
very
more."
powerful. Sorry, I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, no, I
blew
can
my
see
mind. I
that.
haven't played Legacy of the Void in a while.
So I have a question
So,
real quick for Ruff. I'm pretty sure it was you. There's a specific game, a TVP you played against Huck, where he went carriers. I don't know if you totally remember the specific game, but he went carriers. He released all his interceptors and then recalled and killed your
Was
entire
it?
main base. I'm pretty sure it was you. I know it was.
Puck.
Was
Yeah,
it
yeah.
Puck or Hawk?
Was it-
I think it was you
one
where
of
this
them.
happened. Carriers
Yeah.
released all the interceptors. They recalled the carriers. They lost nothing. Killed their entire main.
The interceptors just stayed in the base and started killing me, and no carriers were around. And I'm like, how do I stop this? I can't do anything. Like carriers, like 80 interceptors in my base, flying around, and his carriers were at his base. How does that work?
So how what do you think of carriers right now, balance
I
wise?
think OP. For a Terra player, it's OP. Seriously.
if you could, like, I remember Ruff saying this about the Disruptor. Let's go back to the Disruptor for just a bit and think about this as a unit for a minute. Now, I know you guys, okay. This probably isn't the best way of putting it, but I played a game versus White Raw, the real guy, and for those of you who might be watching this stream for the first time, don't get the wrong idea. I'm not a Masters League player, but I'm just some scrub. But the thing is, White Raw throws a Disruptor at me, and it kills like 12, 16 of my roaches all in one go because I forget to split them. Do you guys think that... I mean, we're talking about a unit that does over 100 damage in an AoE area. Do you think that is a little bit too much? Do you think it could use a slight tweak or something? You know, like maybe let Zealots go in and finish off the roaches once the Disruptor is blown its load? Or what?
Protoss is Widowmine.
I feel like it's an all or nothing unit. And if you're really good at using them, you'll just decimate an entire opponent's army, and you'll lose nothing.
Did you say all or nothing unit? Do you mean to say did you mean to say a Protoss unit?
I guess you're right.
All right. I really wish we had Puck's perspective on this, but he's not here. So
I remember talking to my friend. I remember talking to my friend Zaf. You probably don't really know him. He's like a top master player. He doesn't really play anymore. Anyways, he made the comment one time when I was at a LAN with him, and he's just like, us Protoss players sort of get branded that everything we do is cheese. Like, everything we build that attacks is cheese. We build Blink Stalkers, it's cheese. We build Void Rays, it's cheese. We build Oracles, it's cheese. We build DTs, it's cheese. Everything we do is cheese. And I'm like, yeah, you have a point. All or nothing units, Protoss. Anyways, yeah, you were saying?
was that me or Jesse?
The breathing?
Was that me?
Jesse
Pretty sure
posted
it's you.
something on Skype, but
Yeah, okay. This is... I don't know. Oh, boy. Today's podcast has been... It's been interrupted. Let's put it that way.
so I guess
It's
just
been-
go on to the next topic. We can move on.
Somewhat, yeah. I'm thinking... Alright, so I guess maybe we could go into WCS Drama, but... Closing thoughts on balance for both HOTS and Legacy of the Void? What needs to be fixed?
Cyclone Ravager Disruptor.
Okay.
The new units. Maybe the Adept is okay.
Alright.
That's about it.
I mean, I've seen it. It can be pretty abusive in the early game. I think it's a little bit difficult to deal with at times. Very unique unit more so in the, you know, in the mid game, it wouldn't hurt to have 1 or 2 out on the map. At least in the way Artosis put it. But do you guys think that Protoss is absurdly weak right now? I mean, towards the late game, because Artosis said something about muta switches. And, like, Vipers, if there's even one Viper in your unit mix, and you use the new cloud ability that does AoE damage, the irradiate, if you will.
Yeah.
Then it basically nullifies Phoenixes, forces them to split up, go in different directions. If it kills all of the Phoenixes, then you've got no answer to a mass muta switch or anything like that.
I think it would like instantly. If you can use it on interceptors, I think it would like instantly vaporize like 50 interceptors.
But you can't use it on interceptors, right?
You can? Oh, okay, that's too bad.
You can only use it on targetable units.
So. Yeah.
Maybe use it on your own unit and throw it into fucking interceptors. I don't know.
Can you actually do that though? It might be one of those things that you have to cast on an enemy unit and only an enemy unit.
That reminds me of probably the best WCS game I've ever seen in my life. Where it was Villo versus someone else, and a Villo Seeker missiled someone's Corruptor. The Corruptor runs into Villo's Sky Terran army, kills every single unit, and then he just leaves the game.
That happens to me sometimes. The dance of the mass mutas. You try to Seeker them, you better be careful if you're playing someone good.
Yeah.
because then here it's like my army and there's the mutas and they're all like this. When the Seeker missile's going off, like, get over here! And you gotta dodge them just perfect, like, last second. So sometimes Seeker missile's not worth it.
Hang on.
So I can see that happening.
My webcam's giving me lip. I don't know what that's all about. Alright. What do you guys think of... And this might be a little bit of an absurd suggestion. This is just me echoing another player from when Heart of the Swarm first came out. But what do you guys think of a slight buff to Overlord... Or, not Overlord. Broodlord movement speed? What do you guys think of that?
I think it would be too much.
How slight?
Oh, let me think here. Definitely not faster than an Overlord. Let me think. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure Broodlord is already about as fast as an Overlord.
Yeah.
I mean, an Overlord... It's about twice as fast as an unupgraded Speed Overlord. Right?
Maybe?
Alright. So I mean,
see, right, like, this is the thing, right? We can't even tell, which means that even if we change it really slightly, it probably isn't going to make a difference.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you guys this. What do you think of a triple Sloverlord speed buff?
Triple Sloverlord speed buff?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Sloverlord, Slow Overlord.
So
okay.
Are you making slow overlords 3 times faster than they already are? Because if so, that's not a thing. Please, God, no. Blizzard, please.
I don't think that'd be the worst thing. I think if you just started off the game with overlords maybe having like 30% added speed, that'd be better. And I think that almost might be necessary because of the economy buff.
All right.
I'd be running my overlords into like bases with like Marines and shit, and then lose all my overlords.
Then I can't snipe the overlords if you do that. That would be bad.
Ruff moving all his Marines to like the corner of the map where the Overlord comes over and killing like 3 Overlords.
If we're talking about Legacy of the Void, I think it would be fine. But in HUD,
if
they got faster, it would suck.
Yeah.
I think maybe it would be good just because of how the game speed is much faster. Like in Legacy of the Void, like it seems like the game progression is much faster. You're seeing builds developed in the first few minutes instead of like the first half dozen. I don't know. Maybe Overlords might be good in that aspect because as it sits right now, they're so slow that by the time it reaches your opponent's base, they already have like a 3-gate with a disruptor on the way. Like, I don't know.
All right. I mean. This is just... I can't remember the pro player who suggested this, but he was talking to Artosis like 2 years ago when HOTS was a new game. He was a Zerg player, that's all I can remember. It was a show that had Major on it as well.
TLO maybe.
Meta. It was Meta.
Spell that?
META. Just that was
Who's that?
that was the name of the show.
Oh, Meta.
Oh.
Okay.
My bad.
Meta.
You say potato, I say potato, bro. Alright, so, but I mean, in that regards, I think it's, you know, maybe it's feasible, maybe it isn't. And this is probably just me being a retard, not paying attention, but did the, I'm trying to think, did that nerf to the Tempest ever come in for massive flying units? Okay, so I mean, that's clearly a sign that, you know, Blizzard says we might want to see a few more Broodlords in the game, but I mean, they still melt to Void Rays, you know?
You don't see Tempest countering Colossus anymore.
Yeah,
that's the big thing.
That was the big thing they didn't want. Because it seemed like every late game PvP was one player goes Colossi and then the other player just goes Tempest, and the person
they found the from what I remember them saying in the balance notes is that they found a middle ground for it.
Alright. Well, I mean, that still makes Broodlords a little bit more, just slightly more viable than they were before.
I was going Broodlord Ultra Infestor lately with Lings, and it was, like, pretty good. Like, it worked. I didn't have, like, he didn't try to build, like, a billion Tempests and kill me. Which I'm not sure if that would have worked either, but, yeah.
So, I think we can...
Every Zerg I play goes Broodlord now in mech games with Infestors and Corruptor.
And what are their win rates?
I find it actually pretty difficult compared to Viper, Roach, Hydra. It's actually a lot harder.
Alright.
Yeah, but
you gotta take lessons from Avalo then to stop the 5 base Broodlord all in.
You say Avalo,
well,
I
I'm not saying I can't stop it, I'm just saying.
Oh
Hey,
my god.
Avalo pronounced his name as Avalo on a YouTube video, and then I had some friends saying, "Shut up, Sam. Avalo doesn't know how to pronounce his own name."
Well, look at it this way. I mean, Scarlet Cats, they say they don't play Dota 2, they play Doto. You know?
Okay.
Okay, gotcha. Alright, so you say Dota 2, I say Doto, right? Anyway.
WCS Drama.
Yeah, let's go ahead and segue into that. Closing thoughts right now. What are your thoughts on the future of Legacy of the Void?
Good.
Right.
Good.
Right. I think people are liking it.
All right. Do you guys think this is going to be something? Do you think we're gonna see a huge overhaul of new players coming to the game or not?
No, it's because it's like
not
the
a
genre.
huge.
Yeah, not huge. I think medium size.
It's a niche genre, so if you don't like strategy games, you're not gonna like StarCraft.
Like, this is the one thing that I kind of didn't get by Blizzard. Blizzard was like, "All right, guys, what we're gonna do is that we're gonna have 12 workers at the start to lower the downtime, to lower the startup time, and to get you guys into the action faster." And then everybody on like Reddit or Team Liquid or whatever, they're like, or like the League players and stuff, they're like, "We don't play StarCraft because it's so hard to get into, right?" And what does making the game faster paced do? Makes it harder. It doesn't make people want to be like, "Hey, you know what? I'm getting into the action right away. Oh boy, let's see what skills I can use and all these fancy micro mechanics that I can do." Right?
I think.
Would it be a fair statement to say that with a 12-worker start, it actually reduces the chances of you losing to a complete build order loss?
No, I don't think so. There's still build order counters.
Well, I mean, you could just send one worker straight out the bat, and it probably wouldn't have any adverse effect on your economy, right?
Yeah, but I think we're also...
It wouldn't, but by the time your worker gets there, you probably would have decided on the build already. Like, for example, 1414 kills Hatch Gas Pool.
I never thought about that.
By the time your worker gets there, you're fucked. Like, he's already going 1414, and you already threw down your 15 hatch, okay? Like, seeing how you're gonna die isn't gonna save you from dying.
Can you see someone doing, like, a 12 pull in, like, ZBC? Because the Overlord can't get to the base in time at all?
I cheesed
and the drone won't get there in time?
I I cheesed a bunch at the start, and basically I was just like, all right, I want to see how these timings work, right? Because A, the maps look ridiculous for all-ins, and B, I was like, okay, I want to test out some timings. And funny thing, I 14-14'd Destro, or I like 12 pulled him, and then when my Lings didn't get in, he talked to me, he's like, okay. And I'm like, hey man, no BM Areno, please Areno. And then he's like, Blizzard's calling. They want their beta key back. I'm like, I'm like, okay, buddy, look here. I'm just trying to test out some timings, okay? But I was on an alternate name. He didn't know who I was. I'm like, buddy, I know who you are, and you know me too, okay? Let's not BM each other.
Alright.
But yeah.
Sorry. Jesse, did you want to say something?
No, I was just listening to the story.
Okay.
And then I hatch gas pulled Lingle and Puck without realizing it was Puck. And then I also hatch gas pulled Lingle and In Control and killed them both with it. In Control, like by the time I got there, his like with the Lings, basically what I do is that I go 17 hatch, 18 gas, 18 pull, and everything lines up properly when you do that. And then I just don't build any drones at all in my natural, and I just spam Lings and send it to him. And by the time my Lings got there, and by the time they got into his main, his Robo Bay, not the facility, the Bay was already like halfway done, as he was gonna like Cyclone drop me, and I'm like, okay, this is getting a little ridiculous. Like if you can do this that fast, then I don't see how I'm supposed to win standard. But yeah, it was kind of freaky. People are saying that like the utility of sentries are like lowering in value, but
there's
I think
no standard in Legacy of the Void, in my
yeah,
opinion.
that's fair to say. But I think you need like a couple sentries still, just
Guardian
for those.
Shield.
Just
for
my
the
favorite
cheeky Ling
opening
ones.
versus every single race is 2 tanks and 2 medevacs sieged. I can get that at 4 minutes.
Alright.
And then I just go attack and I go with 2 Vikings and start killing Overlords or the Mothership Core or whatever.
That
It
sounds
doesn't matter what
incredible.
race. And you
Sounds
counter
incredible.
their Vikings. Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's like OP.
Alright. Time to segue into the next topic. We are like 6 minutes overdue.
It's all good.
Alright, so here we go, guys. WCS Drama. WCS Drama, go, go, go.
Okay.
Alright. So
There was a clause or something. No, I'm not sure if this was actually a clause, but from what I remember reading on Reddit, there was a line that said in the rules that was like, and I don't know how reliable this guy is, which is why I'm asking to like check. But apparently, there's a line that's like, Blizzard can make exceptions or like reserves the right to make exceptions. Like, is that true?
Yeah. That's in there. There's another thing inside the rule book that I want to say before we get into this drama that says specifically a player who is trying to qualify for a region must have a majority of their games played on that region. That is in the rule book. I shit you not.
But they can make exceptions with that.
And by exceptions, they mean every single player. State, I can guarantee you, has not played a majority of the games on NA. I guarantee you, Iagos has not played a majority of his games on C.
He qualified.
I guarantee you.
Okay.
Because he qualified through C.
You're right.
It's like, yes, he's an Australian, right? He's an Australian citizen or whatever. Yeah. Sure, that's cool. But why would you make a rule that you're not going to enforce in every circumstance? Huck read this on his stream and he like flipped shit. It's like, why is this even a rule?
I
It's
flip
like-
shit.
Did you see that also, Ruff?
Well,
No,
Huck
I ended
was-
up playing Koreans that are living in Europe that are playing in the NA qualifier. What do you think? How do you think I'm gonna feel about that? I won, but it still doesn't excuse the fact that I asked the guy and he's like, "Well, I have dual citizenship, so I can play in NA and EU qualifiers."
That
I'm
guy's
like,
not Korean.
That's not fair. Well, that's what people told me, but I'm like,
No,
that's
he's
not
not.
fair though. Okay,
Ooh.
but still,
Who was it?
you're in a
He's
different
talking
region
about-
and you're playing in NA and stuff. It makes no sense. It sucks. But like, how do people have the right to play in both if they want to? Like, how does that work? Why are there, like, top players, like, let's say Stardust, playing in NA?
Fuck. You mean you can do that? Fuck, I should have played in the Chinese qualifiers. Fuck me.
Yeah, why not?
I'm sure if Igus didn't make it inside the C qualifier for any circumstance, he would go to the last chance qualifier and be like, I live in the Rue house, so I'm a U.S. resident, right? He would probably be in the last chance qualifier if he didn't make it in the C qualifier.
In regards to WCS Drama, just for the record, do you guys remember when XY and IA were suspended for a season?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was actually a decision pulled by Edison first, then Blizzard backed it up and said, hey, this isn't healthy for what we have designed.
Okay.
And
well,
so,
the point I'm trying to make is, basically, me and my friend were win trading just for rank, not for WCS, but me and my friend were win trading at like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. And this was season 3 of 2013. And basically, while we were up, we noticed that we were running into other win traders, and those win traders were Spider Check, JYP, and Daisy. And basically, what were they doing? They were win trading for 200 fucking wins. So you know what I did?
I remember
I went to the SU2 manager's Skype chat, and I'm like, look, these guys are doing this. I don't think this is allowed. And then everybody's like, no, of course it's not allowed. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I'm just letting you guys know. And then Ricky, who's the manager for Dust Gaming, he this was his response. He's just like, well, the thing is, those players aren't going to get punished at all because they're Korean. Ooh, and EG's too important to be in this managerial chat. Ooh, I went there. He literally said that, and I was like, okay. And then the season after, 2 Chinese players get suspended for a season because they did the exact same thing that 3-4 Koreans did that I reported, and nobody gave a rat's ass. And then 2 Chinese players did it, and then everybody flips tables. I'm like, okay, I can see the politics involved here. And then somebody said to me, I forget who said it, but I'll never forget what they said. But basically, they said, never confuse stupidity for corruption. And I'm like, okay, that's a good one.
all right, so...
Yeah, I agree with you.
I mean, is win trading stupid or is it corrupt? Both?
It's corrupt.
Oh, no. I was mentioning as to how the Koreans didn't get punished, but the Chinese did in regards to the corruption.
You don't have to win trade anymore. They took the 200 limit off, right?
Yeah.
All right.
And now it's just masters or something.
Yeah.
And
we can see the bias coming in again. Like Stardust and Jadon get away scot-free. Stardust gets to play on a Gold League account. This is going to blow over and nobody's going to care. But the thing is that, why are you going to make rules that you aren't going to enforce?
You know what I say? Why don't they just get rid of regions and just say, here's a qualifier for WCS? Since they're bending so many rules anyways, what's the point? It's like, these people from NA, they want to try to get in and get into WCS. What's the point? You might as well let everybody play. Because they just keep bending rules constantly.
I feel maybe they should revise the handbook sometime soon and make edits, make corrections to it sometime in the near future. I'm not a pro player, so take what I have to say with a grain of salt. Let me ask you all a question. Do you think it is fair to allow someone to enter WCS on an account that has achieved Grandmasters at least 3 times, regardless of what their rank is for the present season? Do you think it's fair?
Just to clarify.
Twice is enough?
Just to clarify, 11 times is SWS Grandmasters?
15 times. 15 times.
15? 15, okay. So 15 times Grandmaster, but you're inactive, so you can't play. That's bullshit. That is complete bullshit in every sense. If you're going to let Stardust play on a gold account, let SWS play. And yes, I mean, they are letting him play now. And the last chance qualifier, which he lost in, right?
Yeah.
So basically, he got screwed the first 3 times. This is the 4th qualifier, I believe.
On one hand, Koreans are taking NA and EU spots, and on a fundamental level, I say to myself, you know what? That's okay. Because these people worked hard to be this good, and they didn't work this hard just so they couldn't play. But on the other hand, like, it is region locked, and this is for like the fans' sake. I'm pretty sure viewership would go up if you gave people a reason to watch. And what I mean by a reason to watch is, I mean, like, people have been bitching about this for ages, and we're kind of going back there, but when WCS was in its 2012 format, where basically you just had like the notion of a national champion and stuff like that, and it was just so exciting to watch. Like, I'm pretty sure that I would go and like throw Blizzard my monies to go like watch a live event. Well, hopefully rather play in like a live national event, but like go to see a live national event or whatever. And like, I just think it'd be a lot better. Like, I don't know if any of you remember this, but if any of you remember the Zerg player Killer, who fucking like beat CJ Hero
Dignitas.
at BWC 2012, that was fucking ridiculous. This like random Chilean guy comes out of nowhere and just drives his Zerg creep. Okay, you know what I'm gonna say, into like that Korean, just like I don't know. I thought that was like people would tune into this stuff, right? And it just has like a lot of hype and stuff behind it. But I don't know. Blizzard's made up his mind, and you know, I'm just crying hollow tears.
Well,
if that's the same or whatever.
Okay.
I really missed it when it was specifically region locked. Like back in 2012, it was mostly what North Americans at WCS, like for the NA, and then for specifically Europe, it was
Canada
Europe,
and America.
And then
Canada, America, and Mexico all had their separate nationals. And then what happened was they all got together at MLG to A, play MLG, and B, play WCS. Or as it was called back then, BWC, as the Battle of World Championships. And
that was actually awesome.
Actually,
I remember when
BWC was the grand finals, the offline finals in China.
Yeah.
The rest of us know as WCS.
Like, I remember, like, MLG had its own MLG tournament, and then there was Scarlet playing Vibe in the finals, where Scarlet completely wrecked a Reno Vibe. But, you know, it was, like, still cool to watch, because, you know, you got to see, like, the American champion, the Canadian champion end up making it to the finals. And there was, like, and at the time, there was, like, so much foreigner debating whether it's, like, is Huck better, is Scarlet better? And then they got to play in, like, the WCS Canadian finals, and that was cool. Like, people, like that stuff. I don't know. It's just...
It's a lot better than what it is now. What they've been doing.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the year of StarCraft, though. I mean, like, basically every single copy of StarCraft that Blizzard sold went into promoting the WCS scene worldwide. If you, like, I mean, if you compare the business that Blizzard's making right now of SC2 accounts, it doesn't matter how many map hackers they're going to ban and how many copies they're going to sell, it's not going to be enough to bring 2012 back. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think what they could do with WCS is kind of something like what they do with Copa America. I know Ruff's probably familiar with this. And like I think it's like 3 seasons or something, I could be wrong, that Americans can play, or other regions can play in Copa America. You could correct me if I'm wrong. I know you know better than me, because
I think it's specifically NA only.
It's
so,
NA
well,
only?
NA region, so that means like Mexico, Canada, that kind of area.
Because I know they're restricted to South America at most of them.
South America as well. Basically, the Western Hemisphere is the North Americans, pretty much. And
but do you think they could do something like that? Like every couple WCS let other regions
I don't see why not.
I mean, because there's never... I wish we had like a WCS America, Canada, Mexico exclusive thing.
Oh, you mean like separate, right?
Foreigners. Yeah, it's separate, but I don't know. It's just a possibility.
It's actually a hard thing because specific regions don't have... If you're going to break it up like that, they really don't have the... Like some areas just don't have the players. that are up there. So you'll probably get like a Masters player instead, qualifying for something huge rather than a GM or something. So the way they split it up now, it makes sense. You got NA, you got EU, you got Korea, but like in that specific region. And then obviously it includes like Mexico, Canada, and stuff in NA or whatnot. But I like that, but I think they need to really enforce the residency and whatnot on it to actually make it more hyped up, I think, in my opinion.
Respectable, definitely respectable choice. I mean, like, right now, do you want to point a finger and say, oh, well, it's the athlete visa's problem? Because let's kind of go back just a little bit to, like, why Jaedong and why Stardust kind of got prioritized there. What would have been the backlash if Blizzard didn't let Jaedong or Stardust participate in the Season 2 qualifiers? Would it have outweighed the injustice that was done to SWS, or would it have been just another, okay, well, shrug it off, we're just not going to see Jaedong or Stardust in Season 2? You get what? I mean, I think
for the same. Oh, sorry.
I think maybe I don't need to ask this question, but at the same time, I want your opinions on this.
Same.
If they have a visa wherever they're living, they should be playing in a region.
Okay. So Jesse, I've got.
If you have a visa and you're in Europe, you shouldn't be playing NA.
So if you've got a visa and you're playing in Europe, you shouldn't be playing in NA. That's what Stardust did, correct?
Right.
Okay. So why didn't he compete in the EU qualifiers? Do we know?
No idea.
Because I think he resides in NA right now, so I think he's playing. I think he's pretty legit.
So he's in NA.
Oh wait, no, that's right. He is playing from Korea.
He was playing from Korea, yeah.
Yeah, when he was playing inside the qualifier, he was in Korea, and they didn't get their $5,000 visas for residence until after the qualifiers. But they had to get it before Challenger, is what Blizzard said. This was like a public announcement. That
so he's moving to NA with a visa.
Yes, and he's paying $5,000 for a residence visa. So
it's an athlete's visa. It gives him the right to have residence. Yes, I believe so. Like a residence visa, and I'm not an expert on U.S. immigration per se, but I imagine what a residence visa would be is green card. So you're talking about a much, 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 much larger investment, like as much as MC's career winnings you're going to have to shell out on a green card. Just throwing money at the government for residency.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
I got a question. What about dual citizenship? Should you be allowed to play in any qualifier you want?
That is...
Or should you play in the qualifier that you're living in?
Okay, so I'll throw this out there. Back when I was working for ESL Asia, there was a guy who had dual citizenship. He was working, or not working, he was in Hong Kong for the summer visiting his family, but he is Canadian and he had both countries' passports. So he tried entering the...
Wait. Does Hong Kong have a separate passport?
Yeah, Hong Kong has a separate passport from mainland China. It's considered a special administrative region. But what was happening was he tried entering the China qualifiers for IEM Singapore, and then I was talking to my boss at the time, and I say, what do we do with this guy? And then he says, email him back and tell him he's going to have to compete in the Southeast Asia qualifiers for IEM Singapore 2013. So I said, okay. So I throw that at him, and he enters the Stage 1 qualifiers, and of course, I can't remember his performance, but he wasn't in Stage 2. Stage 2 would have been top 4 WCS contenders that were living in Korea. Would have been 4 Koreans qualified, and would have been 4 C players and 4 Chinese players, all played on the Korean server. So, I mean, like, that last bit is a little bit irrelevant, but the first part is, like, because of the place he was physically located, he had to compete in C. He could not compete in China. Although he had both accounts, I'm sure.
So, just to clarify, I asked someone from EEG, and Jaedong does have a recognized athlete's visa.
Of course, he's worth that much.
I just wanted to verify.
All right. Was it Jay you asked by chance? Jay Totoro?
No, I just asked one of the players. I don't really want to say their name.
Okay.
If that's okay.
That's all good. It's all good. Good news. This is kind of out of the blue, but we're gonna have Blisk joining us in a few minutes.
All right, we're done. We're done. Good talk, guys. Good talk.
What do you mean? You hate him? What? Are you kidding me?
No. I'm just teasing because he's coming in so late in this, right?
Well, I mean, Blisk. I mean, the thing is, the guy probably just woke up. He's in Singapore. He's in the same time zone as me.
Yeah, I know Blisk. I know Blisk.
Okay.
Give me a lowdown of Blisk. So I don't know.
He's a half German, half
Chinese,
half Chinese player that lives in Singapore,
yeah.
and he's a Protoss player.
For my
I think he's like for My Insanity Academy.
Yeah. There we go.
And he qualified for Challenger in Southeast Asia, and he's like top master or low GM on the Korean server.
He lost to Aiguz yesterday in the WCS
3-0.
Yeah, WCS C Challenger, but I mean, try not to rub it in, don't bring it up, that kind of thing. What was it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, rough.
Sounds like he's pretty good then.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the stronger players in C. Let's put it that way. GM on Taiwan and Korea server.
He's one of the stronger 4 players.
All right, so let me think though. Where were we? Oh, right. Okay, so I want to hear it from all 3 of you guys. Do you think Jaedong was perfectly justified in playing in WCS America's qualifiers?
He had to play with a
Yes.
Sorry.
He played in NA.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah.
He has a visa for America.
Located in.
What do you mean by
he can't play in Korea?
He played from Korea. Yeah. What do you mean by he played in NA?
I mean, he can't play in Korea. Korean qualifier, that is.
So
if he's restricted to only NA, then sure.
There's another clause in the rulebook that says if you try to qualify inside a WCS event, you cannot qualify for a GSL in the same season. So he could not qualify for GSL.
This guy's read the rulebook, unlike us.
I'm not a player either.
That's why you read the rulebook.
Alright, so guys, this is My Insanity Blisk. I'm inviting him to the call right now. You should be picking up momentarily. Hold on. I'm hoping he's gonna pick up.
He already did.
Hello, Blisk.
Hey, Blisk.
Hi, nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you. Sorry, what happened was initially Podcast disappeared on us, and there was like no initial notice from him. All right. So let me go ahead and get all of our stuff set up, and go ahead and give everyone an introduction for people who don't pay attention to C StarCraft.
Well, hi guys, I'm Blisk. I play for My Insanity, and I guess that's about it. That's the most simplest introduction I can do.
Alright.
You may see him on Huck's stream.
Yeah, once in a while I go on there.
Or
Skype
you might
with
see him with Arium.
Oh yeah, sure.
You kind of know of me, Blisk. I was being kind of mean to Arium the other day on UE stream.
What were you doing?
Wouldn't be.
Wait, what's your ID? Or
Muizz Kabani, MUIZZJKABANI.
Okay, yeah, that's gonna be hard to remember.
Yeah, I'm from Lizard Gaming.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know the team. And I've met Midday.
Yeah.
We practiced.
Yeah, we know each other.
Yeah.
Alright, so...
And Ruff, of course. who doesn't know Ruff?
You know what's funny? I didn't know who you were.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm no Ruff.
Alright. So...
I can't tell. His voice, he doesn't have the webcam on, so you can't really tell. But his voice has a slight...
I'm trying to set it up. The webcam.
Did we lose Jesse?
I think so.
So what were you saying? I have the slight...
I wanted to say it while Jesse was on the call.
Oh. Okay.
All right. Would have been nice to have you here from the start, but I mean, we didn't know Puck was gonna be MIA. Oh, great.
Hey.
Okay, we got your webcam. Awesome, awesome.
We could go real quick just over Protoss.
I don't see him.
Legacy of the Void or something.
Do you guys see the Mania shirt? Oh, look at that. Old
Yeah,
times.
there's old times, right? I remember
Nice
that.
headset.
Okay, I'm gonna quickly leave, then re-enter the call because I can't see Jesse or Thomas right now.
Actually, Jesse, I can't see either. Something happened to his webcam.
I can see
Let me
him.
go ahead and rejoin then.
Okay. Let's see here. All right, got a Terminator portrait. Now he's coming back.
That's a joke.
There we go.
He's the Terminator of Protosses.
Okay, there we go. Okay.
Rip North America.
Yeah.
Is that a bunk bed? Are you the Protoss Avalo Singapore who are you like his doppelganger that lives on the other side of the world? Is
I want to make it. I want to make it back into a single bed. Yeah, but it is. It is.
Okay.
Because my brother comes over once in a while, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Just now we were talking about WCS and what was justifiable and what was not justifiable. What do you guys think of the Stardust case? Oh wait, just like one. I want to get your opinions from all four of you guys. Thumbs up or thumbs down on Jaedong. After everything that we know. Okay. Kyle says yes.
Yep.
Sam. Sorry, Kyle.
I say
have to
yes
think about
primarily. I say yes because of two reasons. Number one, he can't play in GSL, and number two, he had to play with the lag.
Sure.
I think there's a way to handle every situation, and I think it would have been much worse if they disqualified Stardust and Jaedong from WCS than if they let them through. People are complaining about them being let through, yeah, but if you look at how big of a fan base they have, it would have been much worse if they were disqualified. There would have been much more drama than there is now. So I think Blizzard handled it fine.
All right.
Even if it is against rules.
In other words,
They handled it in their
picked the right. In other words, they picked it in the right direction of the dilemma.
All right.
Yeah, for Blizzard's PR.
Okay, so for the record, from all four of you guys, thumbs up or thumbs down on Stardust?
Oh, I gotta ask about that one more time because I need clarification. He's in Korea right now?
Yeah.
At the time that he entered the qualifiers, yes.
And he's getting a visa to move to North America.
Is that the
Yep.
case?
Yes,
We know this for 100%.
He's gonna
Okay.
be a resident 100% in North America within 3 months.
Okay.
Within the
he has
season
to-
of WCS.
He has to do it before Challenger. I don't know
Okay.
whether he has it or not right now, but he has to get it before Challenger or he is disqualified. Blizzard has said this so many times in the past week because people keep asking. But Blizzard
Okay,
said,
then I'll give a thumbs up, but if he doesn't show up, there's going to be a huge thumbs down because that's a wasted slot. That could have been for somebody else.
They'll probably,
do you think...
they'll probably give it to the next guy in Challenger League that lost to him.
Or they could give it to the guy who beat him and go drunken boy.
Do you think that they would hold another qualifier
No.
to Stardust?
No.
I
wouldn't.
didn't think so. I figured I'd ask.
If he
Do you think they should? Do you
Yes.
think they should if he screws up?
Yes.
They won't, but do you think they should? Okay.
They should, and people would totally be willing to play for that. They would be. They'd be happy about it, but they wouldn't do it just because I think Blizzard would be too lazy about it. And the one guy who is right behind Somasa would be like, darn it, didn't get my spot.
All right, so real quick, from all four of you guys, thumbs up, thumbs down on Stardust. I know we've already shared our opinions and such, but come on, give it up or give it down. All right.
I'm giving up just because of the lag.
All right.
I heard the crossover lag's a bitch.
It's
from
always
other servers
lag.
From other servers coming into lag, I hear it's a bitch. And North American players never stop complaining about cross-server lag. I'll be talking to people and they'll be like, I don't want to play on Korea because it's so laggy and I can't ever micro or macro. So, the Koreans never complain about that stuff. So, props to them.
I've heard.
It
Rob
depends
say
on which
something.
side you live, though, right? like different sides of America have different ping. Like for example, if you live at the root house, you get great ping to Korea, which is perfectly fine. And then if you live like on I don't know, like where Huck lives in America.
I
don't know where it is. Yeah, East Coast is
EU
something.
is completely fine.
Yeah, he lives
Yeah, then you play on EU well, but you can't play on Korea.
He lives the same place
I
I
think-
do in New York.
I think it's very mood based. Like my internet has like a different mood. Like I live so far on the west coast in Canada. Like not right now because I'm at summer and I'm a permanent residence. But like when I'm at school, I live so far on the west coast that I'm literally on a fucking island. Okay, and when I play to Korea, like Vancouver Island, if you want to Google it. But I like when I'm playing to Korea, sometimes it's like pretty darn laggy. And then I'll play on EU and it's way better. I think I think my internet just says, you know what, like fuck you, I'm on my period, so you know what, you can play the EU better for a while and shit like that. I'm like, okay, thanks internet.
All right.
So, with the WCS drama, someone in chat brought up a good point that I think is pretty good to discuss. Anyone can play in GSL and SSL, and they're not region locked.
But at the same time, who realistically has a chance at qualifying these days? Look at Ian. Look at Max Zed. Look at Jim.
Well, I mean, like, what I'm saying is, like, foreigners like Bunny and people like that who are pretty good. They've beaten Koreans. They've gone to tournaments. They've done really well.
Ian,
what was it?
Ian's beaten Koreans. I mean, like, if
Yeah.
come on. I mean,
I'm just saying, like, foreigners who are really good right now. Do you think it would be worth it to try to qualify for GSL by giving up that you wouldn't be able to go for WCS?
No. Because like WCS, you can play it online. The thing about GSL is that you have to go offline for the qualifier. So that's a huge, huge difference in itself. That you have to pay to go down, like fly your players down, and then if they don't qualify, you have to fly them back, and then they're not really going to do anything there. They don't gain anything from it. Compared to if you're in EU, you can play an online qualifier. If you really don't make Challenger or Premier, you can still go and play like other tournaments, DreamHack or whatever, you know. So.
And then there was
EU
also
is nice for tournaments.
There was also a discussion on Team Liquid that was really big with Koreans having much more points because of SSL and GSL having such high point modifiers. GSL is the same as WCS, yes, but SSL is also 2,000. So let's say that Life wins GSL, gets second place in SSL, which he did. He's going to have much more points than a foreigner, right? And in this formula, Koreans are going to be top 16. Like, there's little to no space for foreigners if they don't try.
There more points? I don't think there's more points.
It's 2,000 points for SSL and 2,000 points for GSL for first place, I believe.
Okay, that's kind of weird. Like, it would seem fair if you, like, say, okay, Europeans have more tournaments, that's why they should get, like, the Koreans should get more points and more money, of course, but the Koreans are flying over anyways. It's not like that would make a difference.
And
so
this isn't the biggest problem. The biggest problem is that getting round of 8 inside SSL gives you, hold on one second, let me bring up stats real quick.
I mean, like, not only that, didn't you say that just for some events in Korea, if you get invited to them and you get knocked out?
SSL is one of them. If you qualify for SSL, you get 300 points automatically. That is the same as getting, I think it's either round of 4 in an IEM or DreamHack.
Right.
That's 400 points. So this is where I'm kind of complaining a little bit. That if you took away the SSL points, there's a bigger difference. More foreigners in the top 16.
And
Bunny Showtime soon.
Just something I want to add to that real quick. I mean, if you're talking about qualifier tournaments, you're talking about, in the words of Total Biscuit, I don't know if you guys would appreciate me quoting him or not. Qualifiers can be just as much luck-based as they are skill-based. You're talking about grouping for a good chunk of that. You know, if you
that's true.
If you've got a bracket where you're slated to face mostly Zergs and you're a Zerg player and you've got a 90% ZVZ win rate, well, you might just have it made, you know?
Especially how SSL's qualifiers are.
How do those work out?
They're group-based, I believe, right?
Really?
Something good. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're group-based.
Okay.
Then they go into bracket. But they're group-based. Scarlet got in a pretty tough group, and she tried to qualify. And so I don't know.
I don't know the qualifiers for SSL. I tried the Casper Cup qualifiers.
How'd that go?
I didn't play much. I played like two rounds, and I had to go. I just wanted to play for practice, I guess. It went okay.
Sense.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me think. Anything else to touch up on this topic, though? I mean, oh wait, there's one more. Like we kind of veered off topic just a little bit here, and I do want to bring this up. So with SWS's case, what do you guys think of that? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Like the way he was treated through a majority of the qualifiers? Would you guys approve or would you guys disapprove?
Thumbs fucking down. Holy shit.
Yeah.
What was the question again?
SWS. Did you read up on what happened to that guy, Blisk? Guy's been
No.
Okay. The guy.
I kind of know, but I forgot. Sorry.
He was previously a GM rated player. He was ranked as
okay.
GM.
I got it. Yeah, he was Diamond this season and not allowed to play. Yeah, thumbs down. What the hell?
He did play. He did play in this evening's qualifiers. However, the final qualifiers, I believe he lost to. I forget
Masa?
who. Yeah, there we go.
Masa.
Yeah. I actually typed it out to Kyle moments before we began today.
So he got screwed out of like 3 qualifiers, and then they're like, "Oh, here you go. Here's the last chance qualifier where all the people who are like actually pretty decently good, Masa, Scarlet, it's not the easiest bracket, right?
Yeah, I mean,
you can qualify in this, and this is your last chance. And if you don't get in, then there's another wasted season. Have fun."
Right.
That's kind of what it felt like. Blizzard handled that terribly.
Okay, so I think one amendment that I think everyone here would be appropriated, or everyone would be inclined to go with here, is for the North American qualifiers. What if they were to make a section that stipulates specifically a clause like this? If a player is entering WCS America or WCS Anywhere's qualifiers, and on that server they have been rated as a Grandmasters League player for X number of seasons, 2, 3 previous seasons, on that account, they will be allowed to enter that season's qualifiers regardless of their present rank. Way to go. Way to go, Sam. Is that what you think of? Thank you, Sam. Thank you. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Can I read part of the handbook real quick?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and 2.0 for qualifiers, in Section A, it says, qualifiers will be open to players that fulfill the residency requirements for the region and are a master level or above on the official qualifiers region StarCraft 2 ladder, preceding or current season. Preceding or current season. Individual regions may lower the master level requirement with Blizzard approval. If a player determines their opponent does not meet the requirement, the player can request a review from the tournament administrator before the match starts. Did you also hear SWS talk to Farside, who said it was okay for him to play instead of the qualifier?
He talked to Farside, and apparently people from above said he couldn't play, I think, was the way it went.
Okay, yeah, that's weird then. If there was that clause in the WCS book, I'm pretty sure SWS qualifies as one of the players who's allowed to do that. Yeah. Amongst the scene, like SWS is known, like people would know him.
At least running into him on the ladder at a GM level of play. I mean, In Control would play against him regularly. Huck would play against him. Jadong, Stardust, whoever's playing on North America at GM level will constantly run across him and know, okay, well, this guy, he's pretty decent. Not gonna take, maybe not gonna take first prize at the GSL anytime soon, but
Here's the handbook if anyone wants to see it. It's on the 2.0 thing. That's qualifiers, and it's Section A. It says that.
So, you guys think that's going to bring this section to a wrap? Do you guys want to do some viewer call-ins? What's up?
Sure, if anyone wants to call in.
All right, sure. So let me see. How about you guys? You guys ready for this? All right, call-ins. EXE Breaker on Skype. There we go. All right.
In before DDoS Kappa.
Lol. That's alright. If I get DDoS, I could always just... I don't know, I could probably restart my computer. I got a dynamic IP.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I've been the target of those before, but I mean, like, I don't think it's gonna happen soon, but... Wait a minute. Oh, wait. Okay. I thought I had someone add me on Skype, but I didn't. Actually, I got some people typing out in Chinese in chat. Sorry, guys. That's actually what I do with, that's what I do with my free time. I stream to Taiwanese viewers. What can I say?
So, Jesse posted something, Breaker.
Alright.
In Skype chat.
Sure. Alright, go ahead and take care, Jesse.
Okay.
It's been nice having you on the
Take
show.
care. Thank you for coming on the show. Is there any shout-outs you want to do real quick? Or
let's do a shout-out to Team Ascension for being awesome. You know, they've helped me out with some things. They helped me go to DC to play at a local LAN, which is pretty cool. Hopefully some bigger events coming up soon. And that's about it. So,
Alright.
yeah, but I appreciate you guys having me on here.
I appreciate you showing up, bro. I mean...
Yep.
I go
for
to
sure.
is busy. Puck ditched us.
I'll knock Brandon on the side. Shut up.
Alright.
Alright, catch you later.
Alright, catch you.
see you later.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Alright, so, there he goes.
So, I guess while we're waiting, if anyone's going to call in, is there any topics that Midday or Bliss want to bring up that we can talk about real quick, or just to fill space?
What are you guys doing with your free time lately?
Playing StarCraft.
Me? Well, I just lost Premier match yesterday, so I'm dealing with depression these few days.
It's alright, it's alright.
Sorry, man.
Look at it this way, Bliss. You just made more money than I've ever made in my StarCraft career. Perhaps even more than all the revenue I've accrued in my career.
I don't know though, like people keep telling me, oh look, you earned all this money, and like, it was never about the money, man. Never about the money, yeah. It's about the accomplishment, like hitting Premier.
It's about getting that gold, man.
Yeah. And then traveling, of course. That's the fun part.
I always feel like when you set your mind on something, it's like so much harder to get that than if you're just like, I remember playing on ladder. I'm like, someday I really want to get masters, and like I never could after I said that to myself, and I was like, shit. I guess I'll just be like a team captain, team manager for the rest of my life.
It's alright. I mean, look at sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. By the time I found out what esports was, I was too old to go pro, so I tried to become a caster, and that's what I'm trying to do right now. Oh, alright. Gotta rearrange everything on Skype right now.
Well, if there are no call-ins, I guess I'll get going.
Maybe. I mean, like right now, viewership is kind of absurdly low because I was dumb enough to.
WCS.
Yeah, I actually thought it wouldn't have been that much of a factor, but in fact it was.
Oh yeah.
Thanks, Ruff.
Hang on.
I guess we just do shoutouts and.
Sure, why not?
Start with Weber.
All right, let me think. Shout out to Trevor Houston at, and this is actually something I wanted to bring up. Let me go ahead and just say that. The reason why I decided to come back to doing podcasts, doing content creation for the entire community was, I'm not sure if everyone saw this or not, but I was nominated, and I mean, like, it's hard to stay positive when most of your career you've been, kind of, how do I put this, put on the back end, if that makes sense. But,
back burner.
Put
on the back burner.
Yeah, there we go. Put on the back burner. But recently, like, after I made those salty blogs on Team Liquid, there was... I found out that I was nominated for the Twitch 2014 Streamer Awards. The title I was nominated for was Favorite New Streamer of 2014. And what had happened was I wasn't expecting to get any money out of this. I just thought it was a popularity contest and that's it. But then, and I told Lycan this when I played against him on the ladder. I said, it felt like Oprah had just given me a hug. But, like, I got $700 US from it.
Nice.
It was a motivator, and it's probably the biggest chunk of change I've made in esports. One of the biggest chunks I've ever made. So that's why I'm going to keep going with this. Not maybe for 2015 streamer awards, but you know, I just definitely want to keep going with this. And I told everyone, all 5,000 likes, all 6,000 likes on my Facebook, you know, it's just because of you guys I'm going to keep going. I told myself after a while I was just done with StarCraft, but... And I mean, it's hard to stay positive when, you know, 3 years ago I came here and I was studying abroad, and I saw that no matter what TESL was creating, they were always getting past 10,000 viewers, and now they're not making anything now. No StarCraft. They're doing SF, but that's because YE is one of their main sponsors. And they distribute the games that TESL broadcasts in Taiwan. So they're kind of somewhat contractually obliged, but anyway, that's a completely different thing. Everyone switched to League of Legends in Taiwan or switched to cell phone games or just moved on with life. And I'm for real with this, but I've just decided, you know, if Legacy of the Void is only going to produce maybe one more year of tournaments in Taiwan, then so be it. I'm going to keep going with it. And as long as there's esports, I'll have something to do with it. So a huge shout out to everyone in the community who's helped me get this far. The first big thank you comes to Millennium. Second one, Trevor Houston, for keeping me in mind and nominating me. Third is all my fans who voted for me and supported me, although it's pretty small compared to you guys, I think. You guys, Sam, shoutouts?
Complexity and our sponsor, Soundblaster, G2A.com, Newegg.com, Creative, Twitch, Corsair Gaming, DX Racer, Opponentware.
It's D-Racer, by the way.
It's not, it's DX Racer.
That's not what I was told. No, I think they're
DX
based in
Racer,
Taiwan.
man.
Really? No.
What?
I mean, it says DX Racer, but I think it's pronounced D-Racer.
What?
How about XD to your D?
Well, Kyle, shoutouts for you.
Shout out to Lazura Gaming and just a great community, and our sponsors. I think Max Frag, End of Reality. More soon, but just shout out to them. Shout out to our Heroes of the Storm team that has been doing really good in ESL events, stuff like that. It seems like Blisk wants to shout out Logitech, but I'll just hand it to you, Blisk.
Yeah. Actually, won't do too many shoutouts since I only got on for a little while. I kind of just woke up while Breaker messaged me on Skype there, so yeah. But just shout out to Logitech, my team, and Breaker for bringing me on. Thanks.
No problem. Alright, so I think that's going to bring the show to the wrap, guys. I'll have the VODs up ASAP, because I'm sure people will watch the VODs as opposed to the live stream, since it clashes with WCS. And I think I'll see you guys next time, hopefully at a better scheduled point in time. For now, that's the New Boys Club episode 1. Catch you guys later.